Hi, my name is Max Flower. I'm here with Don Yacktman at the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting. Mr. Yacktman's going to tell us several things about himself, but first of all, he's going to tell us the story about his last name, Mr. Yacktman.
Well, there's like 10 spellings between 1900 and 1910. And my feeling is that it was an Americanized version of another name. And it really, on my dad's birth certificate, it's actually spelled with an H. But my grandmother was from Poland, and so I think the H and K just kind of got mixed up, and so that's how it ended up with a K.
Well, it's interesting how language can change over time and customs change over time. Now, speaking about time, you are involved at the University of Utah and BYU. You've been involved there for a long time as a student, and now you serve on several boards. Tell us about that.
Well, we have 7 children. All of them attended BYU, so it's kind of a divided loyalty. I really appreciate BYU and all they've done, and so I'm on the President's Leadership Council. Then a few years ago, the University of Utah honored me as a distinguished graduate, and so they asked me if I would join their National Advisory Council, so that's how I ended up on being involved with both of them.
Very good. And what is it about the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting that appeals to you?
Well, I think it's a chance for a lot of people to get together and listen to the wisdom that Warren Buffett has.
Yes. And in your career of investing, is there anything that surprised you about human nature that you didn't know before?
Well, I think I'm surprised at how much people are speculators and very short-term oriented. I think the level of patience is really short, and I think even though over the years you can see the benefits of having more patience, it's like human nature just doesn't change.
That is interesting, and I've heard that you are born a value investor or you are not, and you can never really become one. I don't know if that's true. I know I was born one, and I'm surprised by the same thing, that some people who are very bright, in fact, even involved in business, and their investment philosophy is so contrary to value investing. Are there any stories in business that have stuck out at you as great stories, like a company that you thought was marvelous 40 years ago that you think is marvelous now?
I think some of the great consumer branded companies would fit that category. Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Colgate, some of those kind of companies.
And in the case of Coca-Cola and Pepsi, we know that sugar and artificial sugar has become a problem. But I think that the wisdom is that they have such a strong distribution system and other products in their mix that they'll continue to survive even if people aren't drinking Coke and Pepsi. Is that right?
Well, and they're very different because Coca-Cola, about 80% of their earnings come outside the United States, and it's a dominant brand, world brand. Pepsi really could change their name to Frito-Lay because snack foods are really a bigger profit contributor than soft drinks are, but they have more components.
Ah, very good. How did you become an investor? What inspired you to get into the business?
Well, I'm a Latter-day Saint, a Mormon, and I actually served a mission, and after I came back, my father had started investing, and I was just fascinated by it, and so that's where I really got hooked, and then took a class at the University of Utah, and then really decided that's what I wanted to do. Ended up going to Harvard Business School and so on.
And how did you like Harvard Business School?
Well, I thought it was a great experience. I think the Harvard experience, I still know the people that were there. One of them that was in our study group ended up on my board, and so on. So it was a great experience.
Mr. Yacktman, I appreciate your time. I wish you the best of luck and keep up the great work. I know you've always had a strong presence in the value community, the investment community, and so thank you.
Thank you, Max.